Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back chatting all about how you can get rid of all the non-essential items that are needing your attention when you are hosting a yoga retreat. If you're planning a yoga retreat, you need to listen up to this recording or this video, what I have to share with you, because I'm going to help you structure exactly what is essential, what is non-essential, and what you should be doing, what is in your zone of genius. Welcome. My name is Nina Sachs. I am a yoga teacher. I've been teaching for over 20 years. I'm also a health coach, and I have hosted a numerous amount of retreats with varying amounts of success, from zero success to very, very successful. So I know what I'm talking about, and I'm here to help you along the journey, especially for those of you who may be new teachers or wanting to do a yoga retreat. My first idea would be, don't do it. If this is what you're wanting to do to earn money, it is not a money spinner. You're going to be spending so much more time than the money you're going to be getting in. But does that mean you shouldn't do it? No. And if it's something that you've just been dreaming of doing, that you've been wanting to do, cool, go ahead and do it. But just know that probably, most likely, the time that you're spending on it and what you're going to be making out of it are probably not going to match, unless you're one of two or three other kind of like stories out there, which you're welcome to get on a previous video that I've done. But today we're going to be chatting about all the non-essential items. So how do we figure out what it is? Well, firstly, what you need to do is identify or create a list of everything that needs to get done on your yoga retreat. And I'm talking about everything. So you want to grab your notebook, you want to grab a pen and paper, and you want to realize, okay, well, there are administrative things that need to get done. Like there's creating a booking page, there's taking bookings, there's dealing with payments, there is, I'm just trying to think, creating a curriculum. Like what are the admin activities that you're going to need to do? Write all of those down. Then you're also going to need, obviously, marketing and social media. Like you need to create a flyer, you need to have pictures ready for the flyer, maybe you're going to do some videos. Like what is it, all the things that you're needing to do marketing and social media wise, so that you can promote your retreat. The third thing that you need to write down, or the list that you need to do, or the activities you need to do, is kind of like travel arrangements. So what are the travel arrangements? Your travel arrangements. So for example, if I'm doing a retreat, I'm in Mozambique, I need to organize flights back to Cape Town if that's where it's happening. Or maybe you're doing a travel retreat in a safari and you're bringing people in and you need to sort out travel arrangements from like airport transfer, from like hotel to the airport, or what it is. Like, what are the transport arrangements that you need to organize? It might be nothing if you're just doing a yoga retreat in your neighborhood, but if you're planning a bigger one, you've got probably quite a few different types of travel arrangements that may need to be in consideration. Then you also need to have a look at like all the vendor coordinations. Like what else are you going to need on this retreat? So there's food. Are you going to be doing the food? Are you getting a caterer in to do the food? What else are you needing? Are you just going to be doing the teaching, or are you going to have other people teaching? Are you going to have someone who's coming in to do massage therapy? Are you getting in someone else to do something else? Like, what are all the vendor requirements that you are going to need? Okay, then you're also going to need, okay, like what equipment am I needing? Am I going to need a sound system? Am I going to need yoga blocks? Am I going to need yoga straps, yoga mats? Like, what is all the equipment that I am going to need on this yoga retreat to make it successful? And the one yoga retreat we did Indian dancing, and Divya, she organized a whole load of saris for us to get dressed in. So that again is something that needs to get factored in. Like, how many people are there going to be? 20. How do I get 20 saris to a yoga retreat? And so when you list down everything that you need to organize, identify all the tasks, it can be very overwhelming. And it's good to do that, because then you get a reality check as to how much it goes in. Because it's not just about like finding a pretty venue, saying to others that you're going to be doing a yoga retreat and that money's just going to happen to land in your bank account and then you're going to go off and like have a beautiful time with the fairies. No, there is a lot of planning and preparation that is needed. So get a reality check, write down everything that you need, and get that on a piece of paper. Okay, so now that we've got that, well done, good job. Now you need to figure out, like, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What are you really, really, really good at? and write that down. So, for example, my side, I love organizing. I'm good at organizing. So that is a strength. Maybe you're really good at teaching a certain aspect of yoga. Maybe you're really good with like nutrition and in the kitchen and getting food things across. Like, what is it that you are good at? What are your strengths? Maybe you're really good with social media and you can put together awesome like flyers and reels and carousels and all these funny things that are out there in social media. Maybe you love that. Maybe you're really good at that as well. So notice like what are the things that you are good at? Like what are your strengths? And that's going to lead me to number 3, which is, okay, now we need to figure out how we're going to split things up. Like what is your zone of genius? Like nothing else, like what is your zone of genius? And if I had to think of like all the strength and what I'm good at, like my zone of genius is like collaborating, bringing people together and organizing. Like that is my zone of genius. But what is your zone of genius? And so this is really important because then you are going to be able to draw on like what is essential for you to have to do. And then you can delegate and outsource all those non-essential tasks. So what that means, for example, I realized that, yes, I'm good at bringing people together and organizing and putting a structure. I'm very good with creating structures. That's why I have a coaching business in a company, because I have a really good structure that I follow and people get results. So I know that I am good at creating structure. So what does that mean? That means that I can now outsource all the other things. I don't have to teach every single class on the yoga retreat anymore. I've outsourced and found perfect people who can do that, who can come and teach. I enjoy good food. I'm no chef. I'm not really good at it. But I know it's an essential part on a yoga retreat. I want people to feel nourished and like there's good food and that has been made with love. So I know that I need to outsource the food. Now, this is what gets tricky. This is what gets difficult. When you start outsourcing, that means you have less control and probably less control of the income. But again, it's time versus money. Like, where are you going to be finding that balance? And you need to find that balance if you want to have a good time on retreat. So keep that in mind. And then you can, again, figure out, okay, well, the marketing, how good am I with marketing? Maybe you've got a yoga student who like runs a marketing business or is really good at that. Maybe you've got someone, maybe your yoga student is a little bit bigger and you've got an admin person, and that person can be delegated to doing the marketing and the social media for you. Or you exchange some yoga classes for this person creating your flyers and posting on your social media places and things like that. So really know like what your zone of genius is. Hone in on that. Maybe you are really good with just teaching a specific type of yoga sequence or class or workshop. And maybe you're not actually really good with the whole organization and the collecting of the money and all of that. And so then you know that maybe being the one that creates the yoga retreat is not for you, but maybe being a guest on other people's yoga retreats is more for you. Or if you want a yoga retreat that you want to create, you know that you now have to find a person who is really good with organizing and can do that admin, so that you can do what your strength is, your zone of genius is. And I'm just going to use Annika, for example, like hers is like sound journeys, taking people on a sound journey. Like that's what she should be doing. And the beautiful thing is, like, when you know what your zone of genius is, other people see that, and other people who have retreats are going to be like, Nina, Annika, can you do this on my retreat? And then all the other things that you don't want to be doing, that you're not good at, fall away. And you come and do what your zone of genius is. So those are my 3 essential kind of like steps for you when it comes to your yoga retreats. Hosting them, first of all, identify all the tasks that need to happen. It might be overwhelming. That's okay. That's the point. Then you need to figure out, okay, what are my strengths? What am I really good at? And remember, this can shift from retreat to retreat, from year to year, because you're going to learn and you're going to grow you're going to learn new skills about yourself. And that is good. And that means that the next time you do a retreat, you might be taking on a different role or a responsibility. Once you know what your strengths are, what is your one key zone of genius? And that's what your focus should be for that retreat. And then you want to delegate and outsource all the other tasks. So maybe your strength is, again, nutrition and food. And so maybe it is also your retreat. And so maybe you have to deal with like the bookings and the money side of things. But how can you delegate all the other non-essential tasks? There may be kind of like the one zone of genius that you've got, and then there may be like 2 or 3 other essential key things that you will need to do. What is everything else? Like the first time I did a yoga retreat, I remember I was like, okay, I need to pack the mats and the bricks and the blocks and the straps and the eye bags and make sure everyone's got blankets. And I'm like, no, that's not my zone of genius to do like that kind of stuff. So now everyone who comes, they're told, bring your own. And then I'll have like one person in the studio. Her responsibility is to bring extra blankets. Someone else's responsibility will be to bring the straps. Someone else's will be to bring blocks. So now I've delegated. So again, it's not everyone having to do everything. There's one person who's got one role, and that's what they're doing. And so that is how you can delegate that as well, so that it's not all just on you overwhelming. And remember, people are very, very happy to support and to help you. So keep that in mind. And yes, that's it. That's pretty much it. If you're going to be going on and doing a yoga retreat, make sure you go in with your eyes wide open. I'm not saying don't do it. It is a lot of fun. And if you do it well and you stick to your zone of genius, you are going to have so much fun on retreat. You're going to really enjoy it thoroughly. Remember to let go. We're not aiming for perfection. We just want everyone to have a good time. And so when you can step back and release that idea of perfection, and that your retreat has to be the most perfect and the most sublime yoga retreat that your client has ever gone on, it is going to be an experience. Embrace that and have fun. So that is updates from me. I hope that was helpful. Leave a note in the comments if there's anything that you think is essential in a yoga retreat that I haven't mentioned and forgotten about, because it's always useful to hear that. And if this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and remember to share with a yoga teacher that you think would benefit from hearing this. Bye. Have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, guys, here